God, I hope I'm not going crazy. Have you ever had one of those "how in the hell did I get here" moments? I mean, those flashes of clarity where you really see your life and you look in a mirror and you're so far removed from the person that you dreamed of being when you were a kid that you're stunned, speechless. Mine happened about a year ago. A week or two before Thanksgiving, when I woke up in the hospital. I was incredibly disoriented. Everything seemed unreal and distant, not really happening to me, like I was dreaming, or an avatar in a video game. Because maybe it was because I already felt so disconnected. Maybe it was the terrifying reminder of my own mortality, but it felt like I was seeing myself through a stranger's eyes. Waves of shame and self-hatred rolled over me in that hospital bed, and I vowed to change my life. I'd made similar resolutions before and failed miserably, but this time was different. This time, the change was nearly effortless. Old habits evaporated, old temptations lost their allure, peer pressure stopped being an issue because I just wasn't interested in hanging out with my usual group. When I tried going out with them sober, they bored me to tears. Meanwhile, other relationships in my life were improving. I mean, at my son Logan's birthday party, I even overheard my ex-wife telling her mother that I'd finally grown up and stopped causing so much heartache for everyone. When the last child had left and I was cleaning up, my son surprised me with a running hug, and he wrapped his arms around me and squeezed me harder than he ever had in his life. "Will you stay?" he whispered. I brushed back his hair with my hand. "Of course, I'll stay, as long as you want. You could even spend the night at my place, if your mom says it's okay." He sighed happily. "You're so much better than my real dad." Every cell in my body froze. I launched into a speech about how I was his dad and was trying to change and knew that I needed to earn his trust back, etc., etc. And "Okay," he said lightly, obviously eager to return to his pile of presents, but just before he ran off, he winked at me, like he had an awesome secret. Logan couldn't stay with me that night, after all, and honestly, I was kind of relieved. I mean, what he'd said had cut me to the core, and for the first time in nearly a year, I desperately wanted a drink. I made it all the way to the front door of my apartment complex before I lost it and started sobbing, and I was fumbling in my pockets for my keys, trying to see through a glaze of tears, when Sam put her hand on my shoulder. Sam had lived in the apartment next door to mine for years before my epiphany, and I'd barely spared her a second glance, but after, I found myself choking on cartoon butterflies whenever she passed by. I'd never had to chase a girl before. I mean, it's not like I'm Brad Pitt or anything. It's just that I used to spend an enormous amount of time and money making myself look nothing like myself. If you'd seen the old me, or one of my countless clones, I mean, a golem of muscle, tan spray, and bleach, it was a lot like being a zombie, I suppose. You could barely move for the fear that parts of you will snap and fall off. Back on point. I'd been trying to catch Sam's eye for months, and I was terrible at it. I'd chat her up and think I was getting somewhere, but then I'd make a joke or quote a movie, and she'd cringe like I'd just stabbed her. It was humiliating. That way, I finally caught her attention, bawling like an angry toddler on the front steps. miserably wiping snot on my sleeve as I blubbered confessions for a million sins, and Sam listened patiently, only stopping me once to suggest that we get out of the cold, start talking in her apartment. She drank me under the table. I mean, I'd lost all tolerance in a year of sobriety, but Sam definitely didn't have that problem. When I got up to get us both another, it was easy to see why. Her refrigerator looked like mine used to, boasting the 4 food groups: beer, liquor, takeout, and antique condiments. "Did your roommate move out?" I asked, carrying our beers back from her kitchen. I mean, he was a big cook, right? I used to walk by your place around dinner time and just drool and...
He wasn't my roommate. He was my husband.
My face fell, and the last year flashed by in sickening instant replay, her total disinterest in me followed by the pained look and vanishing act whenever she caught herself flirting back. I'd never bothered to ring check her until my crush hit. If you'd like to talk about it, I'm interested. But, I mean, I won't pry if you don't. I mean, up to you. She laughed a little, shaking her head.
It's funny. Elmer was usually such a good judge of character, but he was so wrong about you. Sucks that he never got to know you. I think he really would have liked you.
She changed the subject, and I excused myself soon after. The next day, curiosity hit me to Google her husband. And as I read through the results, my eyes widened. Elmer had died the night that I passed out, and it appeared he might have accidentally saved my life. I spoke with a neighbor and confirmed that my guess was right. The EMTs who responded to Sam's 911 call had been the ones who found me. Since they'd been called out for just one patient and only had one ambulance, they'd put me on a board and hung it on hooks from the ambulance ceiling. I didn't sleep a wink the night that I found out, and my stupid drunk ass hung there a few feet above the worst moments of Sam's life. And the last ones of Elmer's. The ultimate third wheel, intruding on something incredibly private and intimate. I laid in my bed, staring at the ceiling, imagining what it must have been like for Elmer, staring up at a guy he'd thought was a total waste, knowing that I'd wake up. He wouldn't. I blushed against the pillow, thinking how I'd hit on her so soon after his death. I couldn't believe that she'd end up comforting me. I swore to never flirt with Sam again, and I kept that promise, even as we became friendlier and wound up with a weekly TV and Chinese food appointment. I didn't mean to get her a Christmas present. I'd considered it, but written it off as over the line. Then I went thrifting and saw this pocket knife. It wasn't anything flashy, but, something about it just said Sam to me. I picked it up and examined it. The owner came up behind me. "You got nice taste," she said. "They don't make them like that anymore." And I smiled, because that's how I felt about Sam. But when Sam opened the gift, her face went white.
Did I tell you about this that night I was so drunk?
She murmured, picking up the knife and turning it in her thin fingers.
I must have.
Sam had inherited one exactly like it from her grandfather. It had gotten lost when she and Elmer moved into the building, and she'd felt awful about it. Oh, crap. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to bring up any bad memories.
No, this is great. I've been trying to find one for a long time. Thank you.
I think she meant to peck me on the cheek. but it landed on the corner of my mouth. And the next thing that I knew, she was kissing me for real. It was amazing. For about 10 seconds, and then she sprang off the couch, stammering that she was sorry and that she'd been overcome. Then it just poured out of her. She told me how much I reminded her of Elmer, how being with me was so much like being with him that it broke her heart.
You say things he said. You quote movies he used to quote. Jesus, you wear the same clothes. Who puts this green shit on Triscuits? Nobody I've ever met. Except you. And him.
I didn't reply. I couldn't reply.
I shouldn't have kissed you. My therapist said... I just don't think I can get over him and do this. The dinners with you... I'm not moving on. I'm just pretending I don't have to.
She apologized again, and then she was gone. And I stared at the door like an idiot for a few seconds, letting that sink in. She left her present on my coffee table, and I bent to pick it up. You're so much better than my real dad. Suddenly pieces were snapping together in my mind, and I kept shaking my head like I could break them apart again. What I was thinking was stupid, crazy, superstitious lunacy. I'd been a few feet away in the ambulance when he died. I had woken up consumed with self-loathing, turning into a new person almost overnight. One with different hobbies, different opinions, different tastes. Even my own son didn't believe I was me. So many things falling into place. My instant extra strength crush on Sam. My new clothing and hairstyle, so similar to his in his Facebook photos. How I'd suddenly decided to take up cooking and been weirdly good at it. How I'd never put mint jelly on Triscuits before and had no idea why I'd even bought it. And how I didn't remember seeing half the movies that I was quoting. I started seeing therapists myself, and she says that I'm trying to distance myself from the past. I'm ashamed of it. That low self-esteem and my crush on Sam had manifested into me imagining that I'm a person that she could love. She thinks maybe I hit my head when I fell, or maybe I have something called depersonalization disorder. I've read countless stories about hauntings, about possessions. I mean, you guys are the experts on banishment, rituals, salt, sage, iron. But what do I do? If I'm the ghost? What the hell do I do?